Last time, a lot happened, and I'll spend most of this episode trying to go through it all. We're at the Aided, which is the only yellow chamber that's not a home to a brother. True to her name, it is within Sister Death's realm, and the Aided is the chamber that we fall through when we die. I've only shown that off once, hopefully you can remember. I'm going to head there right now to avoid showing it off again. There's one thing I want you to see. We haven't been free to enter it until just now.
Call me Crimson. They say you bring death to the sleeper. And I say that you give him a new life. The void will die, it's true. But voids are destined to die. That's what the inner world is like. When a living soul appears in the void, it inevitably transforms color through itself. That's the biology of a soul. And having drained the void, it either moves up or down to absolute death.
Colour is talking to us individually now. Every time we enter a chamber, a different one will have something to say. We already know about draining the void and moving up, and we've known that we could fall down since the start. But having information brought to us, rather than constantly seeking it out, is a welcome change. There seems to be some sort of cube here, with a shockingly recognisable silhouette. Trembling in darkness, let's push it towards the middle a bit. The only inanimate object that physically responds to the impact of colour. Oh, you abhorrent monsters. Did you not imagine what crushing deaths you'd be sending your faithful companion cube? So quick to cast it off. Did you believe that incinerator would be its final resting place? I have barely survived here. How is the cube supposed to cope with no arms or legs? So it's up to me to finish the job. One final act of destructive mercy. If only this abyss would take me too. It's worth noting first of all that the developers of this game were very, very careful about every name that they used. The word Aided has a very particular definition. It is a type of underground mine that is dug horizontally through the mountain. So I'm not sure how to explain the fact that it clearly spirals downwards. Maybe when we die we don't descend, but instead move across, perhaps into a different void. Or perhaps we still end in the nightmare, though it exists all around us.
Azure, crimson.
That's excellent. I was just on my way to the Twist Garden, which I was forcefully removed from last episode. I may have to hurry it along a bit. Nah, he's opted to miss out on this one. You'll also notice that there are only two brothers left on the map. There is Montgolfier, who we can't attack, him being our mentor, and Tyrant, who's apparently the strongest of all the brothers. Now that I can actually pick my fights, all the rest have scarpered, so I'll have to tone down the bloodlust for now. Not that I could even win a fight with this much nerva.
I'm Silver. What is this void, spirit? Who is the sleeper? Have you ever thought about it? Some say this is heaven, and they're right. Others say this is a man. They're right too. I'll reveal the truth, guest. The void is a limit. Life is made of limits. They are many, and they're linked together like a hanging chain. Because that's the only way a soul can move, up or down. And there's no way to stay in one place. Remember that, spirit. Now, collect hearts from the chambers of the sisters you've yet to pass. I'll tell you what to do when you've done this.
Well, it seems that some theories have been validated. Possibly, the void is both heaven and a man. Is heaven, finding a paradise, just part of living? It must be quite high on the chain, in which case this void is quite high. except why does it seem so desolate? Either heaven isn't all it's cracked up to be, it doesn't necessitate complete fulfillment, or an individual's heaven can get worn down over time. Perhaps it sinks lower on the chain as more limits are placed above it. But then again, you know, he could be lying, although he isn't saying many things to make me want to move, unless by stating that it's inevitable. He's either hoping that I'll put some more effort in now that I know it's possible, or I will try and fight against my fate, and end up screwing everything up. So long as he agrees with everything we've heard before, he can make up anything else he wants, and it'll probably sound legitimate. All this separate colour personality thing could also be a fabrication. He could hope that we choose to side with one, either because we assume that they can't all be bad, or we instinctively feel the need to side with our favourite colour. So remember to approach it all with caution, but also remember that it is damn interesting, so it's well worth thinking about. We went somewhere new last time. I hope you remember, for the sake of yourself and everyone around you. We caught a glimpse of the world above. Streets, buildings, windows opaque. A lot of fences guiding us on a direct route to the highest point. As if it was all symbolic. Colour afterwards spoke as if he'd sent us there, only to take it away again. Very cruel either way. It sounds more likely that he conjured it. It doesn't sound like he would have enough power to send us through a limit, even for a short space of time. There was a lot off about it too. The design seemed like it hadn't come from a real place, but it had been taken as an approximation of many different areas. It looked nice enough up close, but there was none of the gritty details that make life what it is. No grime, litter, leaves, peeling paint. No signs of life except the birds. I don't think the petal girl quite counts. She arose on angelic wings, only to guide us again further along the path. We heard voices, it sounded like Ole, but it didn't seem to match her figure. The petals were guiding us like a siren. Not meaning us harm as far as I can tell, but serving very little purpose. I couldn't use colour while I was there. Either my powers had been limited, or I was in a different body. So it could still be the real world, except it's been ravaged until it's just a memory of what it once was. But that eye moon I was drawn to before the end. A familiar sight, almost a reassurance that it wasn't real. It was just a taste of what to expect. If I work hard, I can send a sister to the beautiful world. I can let them run free, like the petals. So I'm up here now. I found a way to climb up, so I thought I'd show it off while I was thinking. There's a glowing figment over there, another Easter egg, that I found through this method the first time. It's Patriarch, the brother with the Zimmer frame of sorts. I thought it looked like some ridiculous rabbit when I first saw it from here. I'd like to have this structure as a lampshade or something. It really seems like it was almost intended to be able to climb up here, but I'm sure it's just a luck of the glorious physics engine. I'm not being facetious, I've done some amazing things with it. There are just as many great places I've been to as there are great places just out of my reach. There is a spot around here where you can get a fairly stable view, I think, but I can't seem to be able to find it. I don't know whether it's a reference to something. Whether it is or not, I'm going to say it could be a reference to Psychonauts, which has these sort of figments. I may be getting on the bandwagon here, but I did really enjoy that game. I left a little bit behind. No matter. I'm going to start putting the crimson and the silver through me, and probably any other spare scraps I've got. I tend to default into trying to pass everything through me if I can't decide what to do next. It's nice that all the brothers have gone, actually, even though it doesn't give you as many options in terms of fighting. You wouldn't really be wanting to do that right now. It also means they're attacking the colour a lot less, which is really useful, since at this point in a regular playthrough you'd have to defeat at least one remaining giant predator, feed the remaining sisters, you'd probably be trying to get yourself to Ole, get enough colour to either fight or protect yourself from the brothers, stockpile enough mine deposits and gardens to keep yourself alive for an indefinite amount of time, all the while being far more wasteful in both colour and in-game time than I'm showing off here.
You're almost depleted. You're dying.
Tyrant's just hovering there, that's a little okay, he's on his way. Right, in we go. Last time we talked, Ely told us to collect all the hearts, including our one true heart, absorb all the colour from the void, and perform the rite of devotio. This rite is the somewhat historically romanticised act of sacrificing yourself for the good of your comrades. The meaning doesn't change too much